It's Hazelle.
It's Azura.
And I'm Germaine.
And welcome back to another episode of Clarity's Season Forever! And we are finally back together in full force. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever. How was your trip? Tell us all about it.
Very good, very good. Every trip that has me in it, will contain a lot of drama.
Oh,
so
yes.
Some can be shared, some can't.
Missing your train by 3 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
She just called you out.
She did it. Bomb alert at the airport.
Oh, so interesting.
Oh my gosh.
What else? What do you do?
She bought these shoes. Right here.
Absolutely cute.
I knew she was going to wear them today. And she did.
Yeah, it's because I haven't unpacked and they were right there. So that's why. But yeah, I think I had a lot of fun. And I have discovered that my toxic trait is booking a flight before I even get done with this trip.
Bring us along.
We go together.
All right, what about you, Jamie? How are you feeling today?
I am feeling okay. I feel like I'm coming down with a flu. I don't know why. So stay a bit further from me.
Oh
No, but I'm all good. We got this. Let's go.
So I treated myself to like 8.5 hours of sleep last night and I'm feeling
fantastic.
absolutely great. So today I'm going to start off this episode with a hypothetical situation.
Okay.
Oh.
So we are all like where we are today, right? Radio DJ, social media content creator, yada yada and all that. What if, at this point in our lives, somebody calls us out?
Huh?
What if somebody just appears out of nowhere on social media and say, hey, many years ago you did this and therefore you are a horrible person?
Actually, that's my biggest fear.
Oh my goodness!
No, because when you're young, right, you do a lot of stupid things.
Oh my
That
gosh.
obviously you grow from it and you realize they're wrong.
Yeah.
But what if your past comes back to haunt you?
Right.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Say
Dig a
sorry.
hole.
What can I do? Like emigrate to somewhere else? I don't know.
That's such a huge price to pay. What about you, Zura? What would you do?
It's very scary. I feel like, especially now with, social media, it's really anytime. It feels like a ticking time bomb, because suddenly these days we see dirt about everyone and anyone just coming out anytime. Yeah, and I think we used to not see as many of these. In the past, it wasn't so rampant. But
You know
now
what?
it's wow.
It's cancel culture.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you afraid of getting cancelled, Hazy?
She's
Am
the
I
last out of
afraid,
the three
ah?
of us to get cancelled.
But
I'm seriously thinking, what can I be cancelled for? But if that day comes, if I have once, ever done wrong to anybody, I will, pay for my mistakes and say I'm sorry. And hopefully, find a better way out of this entire situation. Okay, have you guys heard of the Jeff Ng incident? The entire saga. Were you overseas when that happened?
Slightly before.
Right. So apparently he's making it big now. He's everywhere on TikTok, in Cathay, close
Thousands
to
of
3,000 people
Yeah,
just
crazy.
watching him outside Cathay,
Yeah.
watching him sing, play the piano. I gotta say he does a very good job at that. But apparently one of his exes came out on social media and started to talk about all the things that he has done to her previously, and they are not good things.
Yeah.
Actually, when this first blew up, right? Not the ex-girlfriend bit, him performing and people actually coming down to watch and everything.
Right.
I was very happy because this is the first time that we're seeing a busking culture in Singapore. It's the first time that people are actually coming down to sit and watch. And I was like, wow! And then mas.
Actually, even before the ex came out, I think some comments on TikTok were already exposing him on all the things that he's done. So for example, I saw some comments on how he used to sing for a wedding and he would shush the wedding guests because he thinks that they are rude by not listening to him. And the wedding guests felt a bit confused and perplexed because they are like, oh, we are here at the wedding to catch up with the bride and the groom and my friends, Of course, the wedding singer is a bonus, but I don't think we should be quiet to listen to you.
Do you think that it's possible, some of these things are made up? Not all, but people want to join the bandwagon and say nasty stuff, right? It's also possible, right? We don't know actually.
I cannot rule that out, but based on what I've heard, from singers and artists in the industry, I do feel that I'm more inclined to believe this many singers saying the same thing about him because why else would maybe 10, 20 people say the same thing, the same point about one person, right? But of course, I'm in no place to judge and this is just my own opinion, nothing to do with clarity or harsh. But I feel like if you keep your actions clean, there's no way people can come biting down on you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
But I think also like if you make a mistake, the most important thing is to own up to it. If you're being called out on it, like don't lie, don't say that you didn't do it. I mean, there are certain people, in Singapore, where they made headline news for some sort of sexual crimes, and they came out to say, I'm innocent. And then after that, they were convicted guilty. Then that's like, eh?
Right. So for this point, I think it's very respectful of Jeff to come out and say sorry. So he did make like this apology note on his Instagram saying that, he was young, he made some mistakes, he's trying to grow from his mistakes as well. And his wife now actually stood up to say like he's a changed man after all these years as well. So, well, there's always two sides to a story. Yeah, but you know what, girls? Is there a phase in your life where you are afraid to share with people for fear of being judged, like critically?
Every phase of my life. It hasn't stopped. As in, the thing is, right, when it comes to social media, even if you do right or you do wrong, people will have something to say. And people will have something to judge you for, right? But of course, it's the things that you say when you were young, like, tweets that you've tweeted when you were young. Maybe you used like a term that right now would be considered like derogatory, something like that, right? These are things that you be scared about. That's why anyone who comes into the industry, I tell them, wipe your whole damn Twitter page. You delete your whole Twitter now and archive all your tweets. No, I'm serious. Have you guys done that?
I don't think I've ever been active on Twitter. So,
but you still better do that before this episode airs.
No, but speaking of Twitter, right? And like people just digging up, this just reminds me of like J Park. J Park is like king of being cancelled. My goodness.
Yes.
Right, he gets cancelled every other month. And
Poor guy.
Poor guy. And his first like cancel J Park thing was like when they dug out his Twitter. Like he had, I think, debuted with 2 p.m. at that point. And people like went to dig up shit on him, and like at some point he had said shit about Korea.
He said like anti-Korea stuff.
Correct.
And
Because he grew up in the States.
all the fans just went against him.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
I'm going to heed Jamie's advice and
Yes.
just delete my Twitter account later on.
Delete it. Yes, exactly.
Well, I have had like this phase in my life where I felt like I was an asshole. Back in secondary school, no, seriously, like in secondary 1, secondary 2, I mean, we were all eager to prove to our classmates that we are cool.
Okay.
We are the like hip bunch to hang out with. So I actually said pretty nasty stuff about my teachers, just to make sure that I'm part of the group. And looking back, I am so ashamed of that. I'm so sorry, Miss Poon, if you are watching this. Miss Poon. I am so sorry. Well, I did say I was sorry like back in secondary school, like after that whole like saga ended. But looking back, why did I even do that in the first place?
Because you wanted to
crazy.
fit in. Because, when you're in that new stage of your life. But can we just say, if there are any young kids listening to us, being cool is damn overrated.
It is.
It's so overrated. Just be yourself.
I know, but there's just a certain phase in your life where you just want to fit in.
Correct.
You want people to look up to you like, wow, you're the cool club and everyone wants to hang out with you. Who doesn't like that feeling, am I right? But yeah, I have to say, sticking with your morals is way more important than being cool.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So actually, our producer has a very shocking confession here. When I read it, I was like, wait, which one? Put your hand up. Okay. Our producer says, I used to steal when I was in primary school. I would steal my classmates' pencil case during recess. And it was the 2 levels kind.
I know! The boxy kind where you open up and there's 2 levels.
You can put so many things.
my
And she was so jealous, but her parents didn't want to buy it, right? So she resorted to stealing it. She didn't return it. But after primary school, she didn't do it anymore.
Question. But you steal from your classmate, you also cannot use, ma.
Yeah,
Exactly.
class, right?
So can I just ask, after you sold the pencil case, you just put at home?
She says yes. No, it's about what compelled you to steal it?
That you wanted it?
The thrill of it?
Also, you give her back her pencils.
Okay,
Oh,
so
so
she took the pencil case, but left the pencils.
Right. So it's the planning process that gave her the adrenaline. Lah.
I see. She was a producer since she was in primary school.
There
That's
we go.
pre-production right there.
Can I make a confession as well?
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait.
Ayo, so guilty leh. Okay, so this happened in my secondary school days. That same phase where I was just trying to fit in and all. I have once stole a top. Wow. All of my friends were, unfortunately, yes, my friends were all stealing.
Yeah.
And to be part of the cool club, you had to steal something to prove yourself lah. So eventually I did. And every time I looked at that top hanging in my wardrobe,
Still have?
that time lah, that time. Every time I looked at the top hanging in my wardrobe, I just felt this huge pang of guilt in my heart. Like, I didn't pay for this thing, and it didn't make me happy wearing it or owning it. So it sort of has like become a reminder to myself. Every time I looked at it, I tell myself I'll never do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I still feel very guilty that I have once done this.
Like till this day.
Till this day. Yeah, it's a very small mistake that I made when I was young. Of course, after that, I went back to pay back the money in terms of like the tip box, the donation box. I put it back in because I just felt so bad.
Yeah.
But it was a life lesson learned, I guess. Like after that, I never done it again.
That's the thing, when you're young, they say like you 不懂事, you know what I mean? You don't realize these things are wrong. You just see your friends doing it, they normalize it, and you think it's okay to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Like, like we said with the J Park thing and saying certain things on social media, it's all about educating yourself. Only when you're older and then you realize I shouldn't have done that.
Yes, because sometimes at that age as well, the things that you say, especially on the internet, is really to prove a point or it's really to, sort of just look cool, have some sort of influence. And sometimes you say stupid things lah.
But I think as long as you eventually feel guilt at some point, that means you know you've done wrong.
Right. Right. So another example, you guys know about the Nam Joo Hyuk saga?
No.
The actor of 25-21, weightlifting fairy Kim Bok-joo.
Yeah.
That guy, he's like making it big in Korea right now. But recently, there are some allegations made against him by his schoolmates back when he was in high school, saying that he is a school bully, he's a tyrant, and he said mean stuff to a girl, just because his friend, a brother, like wasn't on good terms with this girl. So all of them attacked the girl together. So this happened clearly like a decade ago, like 10 years ago, but it's coming back to bite him right now as we're speaking. He's facing all these allegations
I'm
and
so
stuff.
tired of this, honestly, I think we hear about like K actors and K-pop idols like every other month. Someone will come out just because they're making it big. Someone will come out. It's exactly like the Jeff story. For me, right, it really feels like, oh my God, just let that guy have his 2,000, 3,000 audience lah. Not say 20, 30,000 or so. You're so unhappy for what?
But that's the question, right? Do you want to support an idol who may have once done this? Do we know if he or she has changed for the better already?
But the thing is, there are always two sides to a story, right? You never know how they feel. And I think, when you're in the public eye, sometimes perhaps I'm just saying, like maybe your management restricts you from saying certain things. So you can't really defend yourself. But let's say, okay, you're not in the industry, right? You're just a person who's done bad things in the past, but you turn over a new leaf. Like, do you guys think people can actually change for the better?
I do think so. And I think it's just unfortunate that, all these stories we hear are of like people with some sort of fame or people in the public eye. I think that other people who are not in the public eye probably do the same, but it's just not being like blown up lah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I feel that people can change is whether or not they want to. So a very interesting piece of information here. Research that looked at 200 studies found that with the right treatment, people are even able to change their personalities. You would think a personality is what you are given, the moment you're born, but that can be changed as well. It's like nurture versus nature, am I right?
That's right.
So the question isn't whether people can change, is whether they want to. That's what I feel.
I had quite a scary discovery recently. So a couple of weeks ago, before I left, I had bumped into a friend, whom I haven't seen since secondary school.
Okay.
So I bumped into her. Actually, both of you were there that night. Yes, both of you were there that night.
Guy friend or female friend?
Female friend.
Oh.
Okay. So I bumped into this, I went to an all-girls school ma. So I bumped into this girl who I went to school with.
Okay.
She's thinking which night
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
And she was with a boyfriend who I never met.
Okay.
And we haven't seen each other in a long time. And then she introduced me. The first thing she said to introduce me was, oh, this is Azura. We went to school together. She was the girl in school everybody wanted to be because she didn't give a about anything. I was like, oh, nothing has changed there.
Why is that a bad thing?
How?
So you haven't changed,
I
like?
haven't changed
Oh,
there.
okay.
How?
You stuck to your
I
guns.
was quite horrified. I was like that since young.
So Azura is living proof that if you are just yourself, people will want to hang out with you.
Yeah. What? True, right? I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Take it in stride.
Okay, I'll take it right.
Yeah.
But the next day I was like, oh, really? I was,
I think like I try to avoid meeting people from my past because I feel really bad about the things I've done to some of them.
Like what?
No, like in secondary school, because I was bullied in primary school, right? So when I went into secondary school,
You decided to be the bully.
I told you guys this. Well, I was bullied in primary school. Like, I used to stay very far in Punggol End, so it would just be me and 2 other girls, and they would take turns slapping me on the bus. I told you this.
You never told us this.
Oh, I've never told you guys this. Yeah. When I was like P5, like P4.
They will slap you on the bus?
Yeah, like just for fun. And I didn't know how to slap back. So I learned in secondary school, right, how to bully people back. And I thought like that was the way of taking my power back.
Right. No,
Yeah.
but in your defense, you had to stand up for yourself, right?
No, but I didn't stand
But
up for myself to
different
those
people.
girls. I only learned a few
Oh.
years later when I went into secondary school. So when I
Okay.
had like rifts with, friends in secondary schools, I would like, okay, I'll tell you guys something that I did. I feel so bad about. And like, if you're listening to this, I don't know if you do, but I'm so sorry. Like, I love you. So when I was in secondary school, I fell out with a very, very, very good friend of mine. Because we fell out, we used to have block spots, and you can do a private block spot where you need a passcode to enter, or only certain people can see. I asked one of our mutual friends to go into this block spot and take the source code, copy the entire HTML code, and I replicated it. And it was like her personal diary of things like people she had a crush on and all that.
So you basically publicized her private blog spot.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It was just things like that. And I feel so bad. And I think I apologized to her in secondary school. But at this point, to go back to her, I felt bad about it every single day. Up till this day, I still feel bad about it. But yeah, that was like when I went into secondary school, I was like, okay, now I'm going to be the bully because I was bullied. But at the end of the day, it's just not worth the guilt. It's
I feel
not.
like from the stories that Jeremy have been telling us, she's a very different girl now as from what she was in secondary school.
Yeah, I was a bitch. No, I was a straight up bitch. And I think that looking at how I hurt people, that really like made me want to change. Yeah. What for be in this world to cause hurt to people?
Right. I agree with that.
I feel like while growing up, right, everybody, while finding themselves, do stupid things.
True.
And then they become skeleton in your closets.
Yeah.
And then at some point, they either come out or they don't lah.
But I feel like at this stage of life, I'm still doing stupid things.
Nah.
Not bullying people.
Yes, but that's
like,
just to yourself, like it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah, yeah,
affect
yeah.
anyone
Yes.
else.
Yeah, just to
So
myself.
That's okay. That's okay. So I feel like for Zura, she's been the same throughout all these years, like her friend has mentioned. But Jeremy, you have like evolved a lot.
I think Hazy has found like your self-confidence. Like now you know your self-worth, you know what you stand for, you know your value, and therefore you don't need to worry about the rest.
Right, and I've never been happier. Like I feel like the secondary school, the entire saga, that incident, like taught me so much. I flunked my studies just because I wanted to be cool, cheated in examinations and stole stuff and all that. But it's not who I want to be. So I feel like, recognizing a self-worth is very important. But do you girls know of anyone who has changed like drastically over the years?
I can't say names, but there's a very, very famous female influencer in Singapore. Okay, one of the most famous ones, like about our age or younger. Okay? And people that met her about 6 or 7 years ago all say she's a bitch. They say she's the worst person, the nastiest person. But people that have met her in the last 2 to 3 years, because she's a mom now, people that have met her recently, they all say she's the nicest person on this earth. So she's obviously changed, 180 after starting a family, after growing up. And I can really see that as well.
I feel like being a mum changes things. Like the
for sure.
example I had in mind was also my secondary school schoolmate. She's known to be like a tyrant in secondary school lah. But then after that, she got married. She got a kid at the age of between 16 to 18. So that's pretty young for our age, yeah. So she was one of the first in our circle of friends to get married and get a kid. And now she's a mom of 3.
Wow.
I feel like she's so different now from when she was in secondary school. So much more mature, so much more understanding and giving. So yeah, I think being a mom changes things.
Actually, right, I'm just thinking of every time election season comes around.
Oh,
And suddenly things come up and they really I think, ruin people's rice bowls, their lives,
Yep, their
careers, everything. And I don't know if it's justifiable. Sure, they may have done something bad, but I don't know if that's justifiable to, don't you think that it's sort of ganging up on a person on a different scale?
Yeah.
Right?
And
Right,
the scariest part is you don't even know if 100 of the information, is real. We can't ascertain that. Yeah.
And I feel like, like we said earlier and over again this episode, like everybody has done something. But it's just that it's now that, people just decide that the minute someone is about to do something with their lives, they're going to come out and say something about it. And I don't know how to feel about that. So it makes me feel right now, right? Like if you're going to be in the public eye, if you're going to go into politics or whatever it is, you're going to be squeaky clean, like clean.
Well, bring that back to us. We are social media personalities. We are radio DJs as well. Of course, nothing to do with politics. But, being in our line of work, do you feel like we have some responsibilities to uphold?
Absolutely. Even if you do something wrong, right? People would say, oh, but you're in the public eye. What did you expect? Of course, there's going to be scrutiny on you. Then they blame it on you, saying, who asked you to choose this job?
And they said like, oh, you should have known what you signed up for. This is what you chose. Yeah.
So I have this pair of like denim shorts, right? That has the words F you on them. Until this very day, I don't know if I should take it out to wear them. Because if people see, then, hey, 933 DJ.
I know.
Wear these kind of shorts.
I have the same pair of pants. Right. It's from a brand called Fucking Rabbits. And it says, I want to f*** you. And I cannot wear.
Right.
Shall we just wear one day?
Okay, lor.
Okay, f*** it, we wear.
I think we were together when I wanted to buy this pair of shoes.
Yeah.
That says F you. And one of you said, no, don't.
I think that could have been me. Jeremy would not be the one to
I'd
say
be like,
no.
so nice, just like. Just f*** it.
Maybe you.
Okay, buy it lah.
Yeah,
We
I
went
remember
together.
where already.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, I do think that, being in the public eye, you definitely are held to a higher standard. But here's the thing, like, we are in the industry, we know plenty of people that also at the same time don't really uphold this moral responsibility, right? It's just whether it comes out or not.
Right. And I feel like we have different personalities when we are on air and when we are off air. So, of course, on air, the things we talk about, I feel like the moral responsibility should be there 101%. But off air, on our own social medias, do you guys think that there can be a bit of like a buffer space for us to like, just honestly present what we really feel?
Yeah, because on air, we are held by broadcasting standards.
Right.
We have to follow those regulations. But I think on our social media, we have a bit more leeway there. Like in supporting maybe like activism, things that we believe in.
So, like, speaking of stigma, what about the stigma against ex-convicts? Do you guys believe that, after they come out of jail, they really turn over a new leaf?
Oh, I absolutely believe that you can. I think with proper rehabilitation, even at the point of, being in prison, you need to have that kind of support that helps you adjust when you come out, right?
I fully agree with you. I think we can believe that, but what about society? Do you think society can believe that they can change?
I think at the end of the day, right, like you should understand that everybody is doing their best and everybody is human. So I feel like if everybody sort of has a mindset that who are we to judge someone else, it might be like a, more inclusive society. We might be a little bit nicer because I feel like, for ex-convicts especially, I do believe like, people say like, oh, they can't change or they'll just come out and like look for their old friends or things like that. It's because you're shun them. And you're not supporting
You don't
them.
accept them.
Exactly. And the only people that they have are the friends that they knew
Already.
before they went in.
And you never know what they went in for, It could have been to save their family, to support their family. I don't know if you guys know this. I just learned this recently, that a lot of, people who, do bad things, they actually have something called a tua pekong. So
what?
where you pay them money every month, and then if anything happens to you, they will say that they did it and they will sit in jail for you. So these people, their whole lives, go into jail and come out and they just get paid a lot of money. But it's for their family.
So they are called topekong, the people who go in and come out?
Yeah.
Oh, I never
Yeah,
knew
they
that.
just sit around and get paid like $5,000, $10,000 every month. And then one day they will just have to go and sit in jail for however long for the person that hired them. And they get even more money.
Sorry, this happens in Singapore?
Oh yeah, of course, babe.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's also the reason of why you end up in there. Yeah, sometimes it's not as straightforward as we think.
So I think all in all, it's very important to not be quick to judge, like what we have mentioned earlier. And how do you know if someone has changed for the better genuinely? I feel like the best test is if you communicate with him or her yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I share a short story?
Oh, of course.
It's confession time.
Yeah. Oh no.
And by the way, right, because when I was in Europe, I passed like so many churches, right? Every time we passed the church, my friends would say, "You want to go and confess?"
Yeah, if you go in, you never come out.
Excuse me?
So, so what would you like to confess?
Okay, so many years ago,
Okay.
when I was a teenager, right? Okay, so I had a teacher, not a school teacher.
Okay.
So this wasn't taught me for a long time since I
Okay.
was like really young, like 7, 8, 9, you know. So this was with me for a really long time.
Okay.
And we were very close because you were like my mentor, right? Okay, but eventually when I was a teenager and, you know, had like
Rebellious streaks.
rebellious streaks,
Sure.
that's right, and was a bit hard-headed, wanted like things my own way. So I did certain things that this person did not agree with, or, you know, I took paths that she had other plans
Okay.
for me, right? She was very hard on me lah. From the beginning, since I was young, it was a very tough love thing.
Okay.
And I don't do very well with tough love.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes I mean, for the longest time, sometimes I cry, I go home and complain, that kind of thing, you know.
What do you do to her?
So I went home and I wrote something. I was very angry, right? So I wrote something. I was just like, oh my God, I've had enough of this. Like, oh my God, because it's a very like punishing thing, you know, like, oh, you never do correctly, like you get punished kind of thing. So I was not very happy about it. And I think the specific line I said was, "The shoe is about to fly."
Like your shoe is about to fly
Yes.
at her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You, as in you texted her this?
No,
On the blog spot.
Block.
Oh,
I
on
blocked
your blog.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So I blocked this, right? And obviously, this wasn't Reddit.
Okay.
I think from then on, right, that was the turning point that until today, we're not okay, you know. Like, I have apologized for this a long time ago. And shortly after that, maybe a few years after that, I left like her teachings and went to seek teachings elsewhere. But we continue to be involved with each other, right? And I will constantly go up and say hi because for me, at the end of the day, no matter what, right, you taught me whatever I need to know.
Okay.
And I will always say until today, like, yeah, this person taught me for the longest time, but she would never come to me. Like, I would still come and say hello. I would still come and, you know, and I feel like, wow, for something so stupid that I did, right, I'm still paying for it.
She's still hurt by your words,
Yes.
and she still holds a grudge, and that's
Yes.
something that you have no control over.
Oh.
You can't force someone to forgive you, right? At the end of the day, I think you just need to find it in yourself to live with it because that's what you did. Yeah.
Okay, so before we close off this episode, any last words for our listeners here?
Forgive, but don't forget. Hey, no. I'm just kidding. No, just, you know, if you've done something bad, just, I guess, reason within yourself and learn from your mistakes. Yeah, your past does not define you.
Right. I still want to say be yourself, you know. Hold your own like morals, your own responsibilities, and don't let anyone else influence you because you want to be cool. Just be yourself.
If people are cancelling someone and you technically have nothing to do with it, don't add like fuel to the fire.
Ah, true. Yes.
Very true. All right, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Cleverities Podcast.
We're very scared. Don't cancel us, please.
Yeah, make sure you follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, as well as listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Me Listen.
That's right. Don't forget to drop a comment and turn on the notification bell.
Once again, I'm Hazel.
I'm Azura.
And I'm Germaine.
And we'll see you next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
It's your violin teacher, right?
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, I was thinking like, but well, you're a very good violinist now, so kudos to you and kudos to her.
She can play Adele and also Britney Spears on the violin. So very good.
Solid.
All right.
Oops, I did it again.
No more.